What's up, everybody? NanMan here, and we're going to be doing some more commentary for you guys today. So let's get things started. We've got a fun one for you. It's going to be Mono Blue Tron versus Domain. Now, this is a little bit different. It's not so much like the Domain Zoo stuff. It's kind of like a hybrid version of it with a little bit of a twist. It's kind of like a not quite Rhinos, not quite Domain Zoo, but like a hybrid in between both of them. This recording comes from my LGS. Was able to record our weekly stuff, so there was 4 rounds. So we're going to be posting up some content and videos from that over the next couple of weeks. So if you are not subscribed yet, consider subscribing so you don't miss an episode as we get closer and closer to increasing the content. Remember, we are going to be ramping things up with lots of modern content related to history videos, explanations of band lists, as well as gameplay overall. Just other kind of fun content that we're doing, like how-to stuff on here for you guys to be able to enjoy. But Mono Blue Tron is one of my favorite versions of Tron. I used to play it quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit about why someone might play Mono Blue over playing the Mono Green. Mono Green is much more fast and consistent at assembling Tron, where Mono Blue Tron is a little bit more resilient because of the counter spells and delay tactics that it has access to. So we're gonna see how things go in this matchup, how these players kind of react, and no initial starting off with any turn 0 effects, meaning no ley line of the guild pack for our domain player. Starting things out with a map right now for our Tron player. So very normal stuff that we're seeing out of Tron. We'll see fetching up one of our lands here, one of the specific triomes. I'm so bad at knowing the triomes. It's one of them. Maybe the Grixis one. Maybe it looks like the Grixis one. Somebody that's a better domain player, because I do not play domain decks at the moment. You guys tell me which tri-land is that. But this one's going to be a fun one because you will be seeing at least domain. Well, variations of domain, right? Not necessarily this domain style, but at least like zoo styles or the Rhino domain still there. So this is a pretty good, actually, opening for a domain player to open up with Ragman, because like right here, you can, strip away some powerful stuff. In this case, a land, which keeping your opponent off their Tron lands or Urza lands is a great advantage here. But a blasting zone, kind of old school land of choice. We'll see. Of course, enters with a counter. You can pop it, like similar to like an engineer explosive. But there's a treasure that was created off of Ragman there. No blue mana at this point. So that is very likely a choice. And one of the things that you have to decide as a Mono Blue Tron player, where if you were just playing the Mono Green Tron, you're running things like stars and spheres and ancient stirrings. All that stuff is gone. You don't get access to that as the Mono Blue Tron. So it's like the draws and stuff like that are a little different now, but you do get access to like the One Rings and things like that. So we'll see Ragman come back out, do another little pokesy here, get a little bit of treasure, and it continue with the dashing effect. So you might be wondering, why are you dashing instead of doing anything else? Part of that is you are keeping it alive in case your opponent does something to interact with it and mess with it and pop it, and you at least don't have to worry about that. All right, and we got to see some popping of there. Yeah, there's the island coming out. So which is, what we talked about as a potential, because you need to access to your counter spells, you need to access to your bounce spells, and it's a lot of delay tactics. So that's the difference between this and Tron. It's like, I'm going to spend a lot of resources and delay you. And as the game goes on, eventually I'm going to get enough lands that I'm just going to put down a big threat and kind of end the game there. So it's a little tough to deal with, but something you can kind of be aware of. So now we've got the first island. We can kind of start crafting and preparing. There is a nice little land in hand. Looks like we did see the mine get drawn, so we're going to get the power plant off the next, of course, map. Now over here on our domain players, of course, we know he's got the Ragman still. Could continue with the dashing shenanigans, but could also just pivot and shift gears. But we'll see. Yeah, it looks like let's start out with the Ragman. All right, so our first little delay tactic here. Afara's Dispersal. Costs 2 less because it's targeting an attacking creature. So you just want blue and return target creature to its owner's hand, then surveil 2. So look at those top 2. You can throw them in the graveyard or keep it on top. Looks like we will throw them to the graveyard. Looks like it was another one of those Urza lands, as well as a Condescend there. Interesting choice here. So the ley line gets taken. This is like the idea, is my goal to keep you off of Tron as long as possible, or is my goal to respond to whatever threats you have? And so this is kind of that, I'm going to deal with your potential to get Tron, but maybe it is a decent idea because it is, you're fighting against the mono blue version and it's not getting as cards as quickly. Like things like this will change that, but that's not the case here. Now we do have the territorial Kavu coming out. Power of toughness equal to the number of basic lands that you control, hence the domain aspect of it. And so with the tri-lands, the triomes, with the shock lands, he's set up where he's got access to pretty much everything here, especially if that's the Grixis one. So I believe it is, but we can keep track of life totals. That's the benefit of us using this little life total tracker on the phone. Makes it a little bit easier. All right, 2 mana. Let's attempt to play the Scion of Draco, which very strong, giving some trample, giving some first strike right now to our Kavu if he had his access to the ley line of the guild pack. And of course, then everything gets everything. But, you're saying, oh, why is he not attacking? 1 ring is there. Can't deal damage to a player. Got that nice little blanket effect, of course, for the 1 ring with the delay tactics. All right, continuing to get card advantage here. We do, of course, have access to all of our mana, but it's like the question is Ugin helping us here? Not really. I mean, you get rid of a Kavu, but that's about it. Then you just die to then Ugin dies to the Scion essentially. So it's like, because that there's still the Ragavan in hand, so it's like this weird position of like, okay, how else can I delay things? 2 counter spells in hand with a Remand and Condescend here. So it's like this debate on how you're going to play it out. I still think playing the Tron land makes the most sense. The way things are working for it. Now there is a little bit of shaky cam. I will apologize. We're adjusting testing out new methods of recording. I had our cam set up directly on the table with the players this time. And how it goes. People bouncing their legs, shaking, shuffling cards. It happens. All right. In the tank a little bit. So let's see. 2, 3 mana. What do we got? A map. Okay, so pop map. Go find a specific land. Most likely utility land in this case to kind of help us out. Probably. Okay, yeah. Otawara Soaring City makes sense. A little bit of bounce abilities. You can return an artifact. You can return creatures. You can return enchantments, even planeswalkers off it. So that is a nice little kind of delay tactics. Now you're sitting here with as much, delay information as possible. We're going to try to do a little bit of fight here. Hey, are you going to fight over this if I try to get rid of your One Ring? Flash this in. Leyline Binding trying to come out. Looks like debating on how much to pay, maybe. Going for the Condescend, it looks like, based on his mana choices. Yeah, so Condescend, counter it unless you pay 2 mana, and then I get a Scry 2. This all looks like 1 island. Actually puts both on the bottom there. Definitely don't really need an island in this position. We're okay on lands. It's kind of just sort of that. Let's see if we can get any other threats. All right. There's the ley line. So that is huge for our domain player. Now with Cyan out, they get all of these abilities, and then you'll see the life totals take a huge swing here, as well as a big buff for our domain player because they get life link off of this. So we'll be healing up. Scion of Draco is a 4/4, and our Kavu is a 5/5, so 9 off that one swing there. Yikes. Very scary. So basically saying, hey, you're very close to dying here. I can try to kill you next turn. One Ring, though, in hand will have something to say about this. So, of course, have the option to activate the One Ring and be able to draw up cards. I want to say, is that Minimos? Water's Edge? It is. Or how do you what's the Dol Amroth, the Lord of the Rings version of it? Yeah, very cool. Untap target legendary permanent, which we know there are some legendary permanents in the deck, so that would be nice. One of which, of course, is the One Ring, so you could be able to untap, get extra draws off of that. But yeah, that's kind of the way things are looking here. The best line of play, we're at 4 life, activate One Ring, draw a bunch of cards, get information. We're really setting up to be able to play the One Ring a second time here, but it's kind of like the most information that we can get is where we need to be at here. So there's the activation. We'll draw. Still a lot of delay. Plan doesn't really change here, though. We don't even have to activate the One Ring at the moment. Like, we're using it as a fog effect. All right. 4 mana. What are we bouncing? Karn. He's actually got a Karn here. So this is nice. Karn, of course, toolboxy in mono green Tron as well as mono blue. You are messing with your opponent not being able to activate artifacts. That part doesn't really matter. What really matters is the -2 ability. Let's go search through our sideboard, and we will find a extremely hateful card and an amazing card that you want to have if you're fighting against the domain players, and that is our Sundering Titan. I love Sunder. Like, oh man, watching this mono blue Tron deck is really making me want to rebuild mine. I currently have the mono green version in paper at the moment, and it's like Mindslaver locking people, Sundering Titan people, just running a bunch of counter spells. I don't know, guys. This might push me back to making Tron again in the mono blue version. This is one of those you're frustrating to play against, right? As the domain player, you're like, all right, I've got you to 4. You're protected right now. Now, here's the thing, though. The player is protected, but Karn is not. So that's why you see, like, Kavu coming out there. Swing. Let's kill off your Karn, or attempt to. You know, this, you could have fought over it, but it's like you have counter spells, so it's like, Karn did his job. I have a threat later. He's not in a position that he wants to be in. Now, this is a play here that I am nervous about. So right there, our domain player threw down his Arid Mesa. Of course, you could tap it for any color, but when your opponent reveals Sundering Titan, you do not want to be giving more lands. Especially in the fact that every land that you control is every basic land type in addition to their other types. So you can just, try to just blow everything up with it. But we do see, so this is what I was talking about earlier about how the, Teferi trying to come down here, 3-drop Teferi is a little bit more controlling and not what you'd expect to see in a normal like domain zoo list. That's why it's kind of almost like a hybrid, right? There's some control elements in this domain list, but it does not run rhinos here. So it's like a hybrid between both. All right, we've got 2 mines, tower, power plant, so quite a bit of land. 10, 11, 12, 13 mana available. Oblivion Stone here. All right. So the, of course, 4 ability there, pay 4 mana is irrelevant. You don't ever really see it. Every now and again you might, but it's, for the most part, it's not going to matter there. We will be able to spend 5 and blow it up. That's the kind of nice thing. Let's wipe the field here. Destroy each non-land permanent without a fate counter on it. Of course, the One Ring doesn't care about that. Being an indestructible permanent. Because, why would it not be indestructible? And because that was destroying our leyline binding there, the map does come back and give the Tron player additional way to kind of mess with things. So yeah, we'll see. 4 mana available here, which again is potential for counter spells. Domain player will do a little bit of fetching, just kind of giving access to as much mana as possible. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we could say mountain, island, swamp, plains, forest. Oh, okay. Fetch, bolt you, put you to 1. Not going to fight over it. Because, hey, 1 life is not 0. Fight over the ones that are going to try to kill you. Are we doing a dash Ragavan? No. In the tank, debating 2 mana to 3 mana. So my guess is it's probably a dash Ragavan. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sign of Draco. Ooh, Teferi's here. So it's like, okay, what do I go for that? That'll probably bait out a counter spell. So he doesn't have a Ragavan left. All right, 2 mana, bounce back to your hand. Echoing Truth. Turn target non-land permanent, but all their copies of the same name. Let's flash this in. Interesting. I mean, what are you hitting here? The One Ring? I don't think the One Ring matters. He's at 1 life. I don't know. It's like the board's clear. Sundering Titan comes down, you just lose. Especially if your opponent bounces, which he's shown the ability to do. He tutored up Otawara. We saw that earlier off the map. I mean, this is one of those, like, it is a weekly, right? Just kind of a little bit more casual. But if you're practicing and you're grinding, this is where writing down in your notebook comes in handy, where you're sitting there and going, oh, hey, you are tutoring up this, you got this from your sideboard, and I know as much information as possible, so if I can make as clear directions as possible. Not saying that it's bad to just sit here and be like, yeah, I'm just going to wing it, it's fine, it doesn't matter. You know, there's something to be said after working all day and coming and playing games in the evening to just be like, I just want to grind and I don't really care. I'm not taking it as seriously, but just little info and hints for players that are trying to learn Modern or get into it. Write down information. Help yourself to remember things. All right, so much mana now available. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. Still. Yeah, Sundering Titan's going to be the play here. It looks like. Yeah. Sundering Titan. Let's go. 8 mana for this big boy. We're counting it out. So Sundering Titan is, I saw it earlier. It's time. Like, you know that your opponent has 1 card left in hand. You play this now, it's essentially locking them out of the game. We talked about the dangers of this earlier, and he can look through it and say, okay, this will be a mountain. That'll be an island. That'll be a swamp. Yeah, so mountain, swamp, island, plains, forest, lose all of your lands. Yeah. And you do need to, like, the way Sundering Titan works, you do need to name, right? So if your opponent did not have an island, per se, you would have to blow up one of your own. It does work that way. But that's going to be game 1. Quick shuffle up, the scoop up. Hey, you bounce my Sign of Draco. What do I got here? I got to hope that I could top deck a red source and hope that I can top deck a bolt to kill you before you kill me with a Sundering Titan. Yes, that's a couple of turns. You know, GG, go next. Let's scoop. Let's get to sideboards. Let's get ready for game 2. We're not going to watch the player's sideboard too much. It's just going to be them kind of looking through their sideboard stuffs here, and then we're going to kind of dive into it at this point in time. So we'll see. We don't have access to their list as of right now, but if this is something that you would like to see some of these players' lists, let me know, and I will ask these players the next time that I go to locals and the LGS there and see if I can get access to the list for you guys to be able to see. All right, so you're down a game. You got to hope for a fast hand as our domain player. You know, hoping to, like, a Ragavan right off the rip. Even as a turn 1 Ragavan would be awesome. Hoping for some ley lines of the guild pack to start things out and really get the speed going. Get the Kavu out there early. Like, you're hoping for some speed here. We have seen this domain deck is a little bit more control-y, a little bit, you know, can last a little bit longer. Mono Blue Tron, we saw it's similar to the Mono Green, right? Hey, if the game goes longer, I'm gonna win, right? The longer the game goes, the better it is positioned for a Tron player to be. All right, double ley line of the guild pack coming out here. First land, Ragavan turn 1. That's what we're hoping for, but that's 4 cards, so that means that there's 3 cards left, about to be up to 4, but we see a nice little, what is that, the giant one? You pay like 7 mana, turn it into a 7/7 giant. Nice, like, little utility land action here. So, Far's Dispersal again. Bounce it to your hand. I'm going to Surveil too. That's a cool card. I'm gonna have to pick up a playset of those whenever I potentially eventually rebuild Mono Blue Tron. All right. Oh, pivot into Stoneforge Mystic. I wonder if this is in the main board or if it's like a sideboard shenanigan here. All right. Cauldron Complete, very powerful. 7 costs, or in this case, just 2 mana. Sneak it out there. You do get access to that little germ. It's living weapon, of course, and does have that little bit of a scary power with it that we'll get into when he plays it there, which is cool. You know, you like to be able to see that sort of stuff. Yep, there's the activation, and here comes Cauldron Complete. So here you go, living weapon +5/+5. Of course, does have trample, indestructible, haste, and first strike. And of course, if it deals damage, you get to do some shenanigans. So there we go, swinging in. And of course, he's got another one there. So let's bounce the germ token back to your hand, he says. Basically shutting off Cauldron, because now you need 7 mana to equip it. Now it's just a useless artifact on the field here. It doesn't, like, back in the day, players would utilize Battering Skull because you had the ability to, like, return it to your hand to replay it with the living weapon stuff. That's not the case with Cauldron Complete. You're just at the whim and the mercy of hoping you can get there with it. All right. Power Plant, Mine, and, of course, access to our blue mana. Ragavan's going to be trying to come out here. It looks like a dash Ragavan. Ooh, is he Hellbent? Does he got no cards left? Oh, no, he's got a couple. Looks like at least 2. All right, combat. Repeal. 1 in a blue, return target creature with mana value 1 or less, and then draw a card. So again, delay is the name of the game. As a Mono Blue Tron player, you're doing your best to try to do that here. I wonder if he's running Lorien Revealed. I haven't really seen any, but maybe he's relying more on just the normal delay tactics of, Afaras and repeals and condescends, delays. So I don't know, maybe like a 2 of might be worth it to have, island cycling's nice, or just drawing 3 cards. Okay. We're seeing some of the leyline bindings come in. We talked about how it's good to be targeting some of these things like this. Get rid of some card advantage. Let's tuck it over there. We know how bad it's going to be. Still blanketed, protected here. So it's like you can't actually attack. Yeah, look at this here. Let me untap that for you. All right, what's the debate? Oh, Ragavan. We know the Ragavan's here. Okay. Is it worth it to get the Ragavan out? Probably. Like, I'm just thinking of, like, what blows us out as a domain player. Ugin blows us out. Oblivion Stone blows us out. Like, there's a lot of scary stuff. How about a second One Ring to just delay the game? Ooh, we're going to do some counter wars. Let's pitch another leyline. Use our force a negation here to have a counter war. Condescend's going to come out. Counter it unless you pay 3. Which just so happens to be 1 more than you have access to mana-wise. Oh, bolt you. Interesting. Dump the hand. Now I'm hellbent. Let's hope for the best. Yes, you'll be protected this turn, but my goal is to try to piece something together after that. This is a dangerous position to be in. Like, you are all in right now. And just hoping the number of turns that this takes is going to, work out in your favor. All right, up to 4 mana. So what are we getting in turn 6 here? Yeah. Tron player hasn't missed a land drop, so we're assuming this is turn 6. Another mine coming out. 10 mana, 11, 12 mana, 1 blue out of it. Could, of course, activate... Oh, he's got Ulamog in hand. Oh. All right, so that's the payout. This is what we're talking about. Like, where you're just like, I just delay long enough until I can get into something. And, of course, we get as much information as possible here, which is let's sit here, draw off of the 1 ring, see what we get. We get a couple of maps. Like, you could... like, you're at 15 life. Like, you know, yes, Ragman will hit you, things like that. You could set up, but it's like, I don't know. What's the benefits of waiting when you're sitting here? Your opponent is hellbent. They have no cards in hand. So Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger going to come in. It's got a cast trigger that even if you counter it, you still get to exile 2 permanents. So let's get rid of the 2 threats, since the, of course, equipment is useless. And let's get ready for some mill action here. Of course, Ulamog, no pushover himself, is a 10/10 creature. And whenever he attacks defending player, will exile the top 20 cards of their library. The monkey is back. Hellbent again. Takes a little bit of chip damage off the 1 ring. We're not that worried about it. Let's pop. Played our tower as our land for turn. We'll probably get another blue source here. We're going back for the Minimo School of Water's Edge, or playing it safe and get the Otawaro. Yep, Otawaro is the choice here. Otawaro, Soaring City, that bounce effect is so nice. Of course, you do have Emrakul, which is a legendary permanent, so Otawaro does cost a little bit less to be able to activate. And that other land we see, the blue source, is Hall the Storm Giants. It costs 6 to turn it into a 7/7 with Ward 3. I like that. Well, I like that. It's always nice seeing the man lands in Modern. It used to be very relevant and ways to close out and end games back in the day. All right. Exiling top 20. That's going to be really tough. You know, we see a block with the monkey. I don't know. I think you don't block, right? Oh, no, wait. He's got enough mana. 3. No, he doesn't have a blue source with it. So you can afford to take a hit. All right, take a hit. Keep your monkey alive. You're only at 4 mana. You're not going to be equipping the Culture Complete anytime soon, sadly. But you don't have to worry about Hall of the Storm Giants becoming active unless there's a second blue source, because it does cost 5 and a blue. Well, that doesn't help us. Let's bounce it and close out the game with another Ulamog swing there. Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know. Hey, that's the end of this game, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to start doing more commentary stuff, more local games for you guys to be able to enjoy. We'll probably start getting more of that on stream as well. So if you are not checking out the stream, you guys can be able to see links down below for the stream information. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Check out the other cool videos that we've got on screen here for you. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all next game.